Cancer, welcome to your hopes, fears, and reality spread. If you check the description box below, it'll give information on the placements of the cards in the placement of this spread and information on the deck being used if you are so curious. Cancer. You are hoping not to work alone on this transitional process. You see a hurdle in front of you, and you've already addressed and recognized some habits from your past that you wish to change. You know, you've recognized some things about your own personality that require, let's say, some fine tuning. And you're hoping that you aren't the only one who will put in the work to fix this issue, to deal with this process. You're hoping that others will work with you, or even in some cases forgive you for your past transgressions, so you can find the strength within yourself to continue moving forward. As far as hopes goes, that's a pretty beautiful one. You fear that if you can't move on from this, if you can't heal from this situation, if you can't process this situation, that the relationships involved in this situation will not have a chance to ascend, or the other people involved in this situation will leave you behind because they'll find growth and you won't. It's tough. The reality of the situation is that there is a lot of potential for growth here, specifically in health. This kind of feels like either a spiritual or a mental health situation that you're dealing with. You know, you've recognized these bad habits from the past that you want to work on, but you don't want to work on them alone. You don't want to be the only one who's working on this. You recognize that there are other people involved, and it kind of feels like they're working on themselves too. And it almost feels like the fear is, now that I'm looking at these two cards, I'm going to go back to the fears and say the fear is, if you don't work on yourself, that you will be left behind from the other person in this entity who clearly has put in a lot of work on themselves. The reality of the situation is that you have the potential to do this, but you haven't started the process to put yourself into the balance that you need. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed. There's a lot of things that you need to bring out into the open and admit to yourself. That's the reality of the situation. You're looking to other people, but you have to start with self before you can do that. Yeah. There's remorse. Again, I'm seeing this a second time in this read. There's remorse about past transgressions regarding your closest personal relationships, be it familial relationships, be it romantic relationships, be it work relationships. You're feeling remorse regarding your past actions from the people who you've been involved with for years. For a very long time, you had a difficult time changing your own perception, and now you're wondering how you can change other people's perception. But the reality is, you have the recipe. You know what needs to be done. The problem is you keep falling into the bad habits of what you used to do. So again, it does seem like there are people who are willing to work with you, and it does feel like there are people who are willing to help you. And you don't have to do all the work yourself. You really, really don't. But the first couple of steps you do have to do yourself. And one of the things that you have to do is recognize your responsibility. Recognize your transgressions in the past and bring those up to the surface. And I just noticed, looking in the camera, on the bottom of the deck, you have the star card. The star card is about healing, rejuvenation, and a guiding light. And I can't help but to notice that it sits right here where my necklace charm would be. It feels like you have the knowledge in your head and the understanding in your heart of what needs to be done to heal. But the hardest part is facing yourself first. Once you face yourself and come to terms with who you are and what has happened, that's when you'll be able to go to everybody else. And what everybody else is looking for is for you to come to terms with yourself and what has happened. Once you have that, you'll have the helping hands that you need to heal. Cancer, I really hope you found a message that serves your highest good. Think about that healing, and I'll see you next time.